For the past 11 years, I have been tracking Walmart's discontinuation cycles. And here's what nobody talks about. When Walmart pulls a product, they do it fast. No warning, no press release, just empty shelves. While everyone is refreshing Amazon deals and following the same prepper influencers who recommend the exact same bucket kits, I've been quietly watching what actually disappears from Walmart shelves and what stays fully stocked while everyone panics. Number 9 on this list is sitting in your local Walmart right now for under $4. And when I tell you what it is, you're going to kick yourself for not grabbing 6 of them last week. The problem is this. Walmart discontinues hundreds of products every quarter. Most people do not find out until they go to reorder, and it is just gone, replaced by some overpriced name brand that does half the job for twice the price. Back in March 2020, I watched Great Value rice disappear in 48 hours. But Great Value dried pinto beans? Fully stocked for 3 more weeks. Why? Because everyone reads the same lists and buys the same stuff. If you are tired of showing up too late and want to know exactly what is getting axed this week, so you can actually stock your pantry before the crowd figures it out, go ahead and subscribe right now because I am about to hand you 15 products that are on Walmart's internal discontinuation list, and most of them are still sitting on shelves as I am recording this. Let's get into it. Number 1 is going to surprise you. Great Value canned mackerel. Now, before you wrinkle your nose and think this is some weird fish nobody eats, stay with me. Walmart is discontinuing this because it does not move fast enough for their algorithm. Mackerel does not have a marketing budget that tuna has. But here's what nobody tells you. Mackerel has more omega-3s than salmon, more protein per ounce than chicken, and costs $1.24 per can. I opened a can from 2021 last month. Tasted perfect. No weird smell, no mushiness, just solid protein. Here is the insight most people miss. Canned fish is one of the only shelf-stable complete proteins that does not need refrigeration, does not need cooking, and does not taste like cardboard after 2 years. During a winter storm 3 years ago, power was out of my area for 6 days. I mixed canned mackerel with mayo and crackers. My kids did not complain once. You cannot say that about freeze-dried meals. Here is what I do. Drain the can, mash it with fork, add a little hot sauce and lemon juice. Eat it on crackers or mix it into rice. Dead simple. A case of 12 can cost $14.88. Meanwhile, preppers are spending $40 on a single freeze-dried entree that serves 2 people and tastes like salty dust. Why does this survive shortages? Because most people are not looking for it. They are fighting over tuna and salmon. Mackerel sits quietly in stock until Walmart pulls it for something with better margins. Grab it now. Number 2, Great Value evaporated milk. This one sounds boring. It is not. Walmart is phasing this out in favor of smaller, pricier shelf-stable cartons. Evaporated milk is concentrated milk in a can. It has been heat-treated to remove 60% of the water. What that means, it lasts unopened for 12 to 18 months, and once you add water back, it tastes like regular milk. Here is what blew my mind when I figured this out. One 12-ounce can reconstitute into 24 ounces of milk. You are essentially getting double. Right now, it can cost 94 cents. That is equivalent to paying 47 cents for a full cup of milk. Compare that to the shelf-stable milk boxes at $1.50 each for 8 ounces. Last summer, my fridge died on a Saturday. Repair guy could not come until Tuesday. I use evaporated milk in my coffee, my oatmeal, and for mac and cheese. Worked perfectly. My kids did not even notice. Here is how you use it. Mix 1 part evaporated milk with 1 part water. That is it. Use it exactly like regular milk. You can also use it straight in soups and sauces for extra creaminess. I have cans in my pantry from early 2023. Still perfect. A case of 12 can cost about $11. You are looking at the equivalent of 18 cups of milk for $11. Do that math against your grocery bill. Why this survives? Because it looks old-fashioned. It does not have flashy packaging. Younger shoppers walk right past it. That means when the shelf-stable milk boxes sell out during the next panic, evaporated milk is sitting there untouched until Walmart kills it. Look, grocery prices are climbing faster than most families can adjust to. I have done the homework for you and put together a free discontinued products alert list that shows you exactly which 15 Walmart items are getting axed, where to find them in-store, and how to store them long-term. It will save you hours of research and cost less than a single DoorDash order. You can grab it free at the link in the description so you can stop guessing and start stocking smart. Number 3 is sitting in the baking aisle, and most people have walked past it 1,000 times. Great value shortening. Walmart is discontinuing this in favor of name brand Crisco, which costs twice as much. Shortening is hydrogenated vegetable oil. It is solid at room temperature, and it lasts forever. Here is what nobody talks about. Shortening has a longer shelf life than almost any other cooking fat. Butter goes rancid. Olive oil oxidizes. Coconut oil is expensive. Shortening? Unopened, it lasts 2 years easily. Opened and stored in a cool, dry place, it lasts a year without refrigeration. 3 winters ago during an ice storm, I had no power for 8 days. I used shortening to fry eggs on my camp stove, to make biscuits in a cast iron pan, and to grease my Dutch oven for cornbread. It does not smoke as fast as butter, and it does not have a strong flavor that overpowers your food. Here is what I do. Scoop out a tablespoon, toss in a hot pan, and cook exactly like you would with butter or oil. You can also use it for baking. Biscuits, pie crusts, cookies. It makes everything flaky and tender. A 48-ounce can cost $4.68. Compare that to a pound of butter at $4.50 that has to stay refrigerated and goes bad in weeks if your power goes out. Shortening does not care. It just sits there, stable, ready. Why does it survive shortages? Because modern food culture has demonized it. Everyone wants olive oil and grass-fed butter. That is great until the supply chain chokes, and those are the first things to disappear. Shortening stays stocked because it is unfashionable. That is exactly why you want it. Number 4. This one is going to sound strange. Great value instant pudding mix. Walmart is cutting back on their pudding SKU count, and the instant vanilla and chocolate are on the chopping block. You are probably thinking this is a dessert item, not a prepper staple. Wrong. Here is the insight nobody talks about. Instant pudding mix is a shelf-stable thickener, a morale booster, and it stores for years. I have boxes from 2022. Still make perfect pudding. During the 2020 lockdowns, my kids were going stir-crazy. Food was boring. Tempers were short. I made chocolate pudding with evaporated milk. Took 5 minutes. The mood in my house completely flipped. That is not a small thing when you are stuck inside for weeks. But here is the secret use. You can use pudding mix as a thickener for sauces, or mix it into oatmeal for flavor, or even add it to pancake batter. A box costs 88 cents. Each box makes 4 servings. Compare that to $4 for a pack of pre-made pudding cups that take up 10 times the storage space. Here is what I do. Mix the powder with cold milk. Whisk for 2 minutes. Let it set for 5. If you do not have fresh milk, use the evaporated milk I just told you about. Works perfectly. Why does it survive? Because nobody thinks of pudding as survival food. It is categorized as junk, as kid food, as non-essential. That is exactly why it stays on shelves when rice and beans are cleared out. It is a psychological blind spot. Number 5 is in the canned vegetable aisle, and it is about to disappear. Great value canned spinach. Walmart is replacing it with a name brand version that costs $1.30 more per can. Canned spinach is one of the most nutrient-dense items you can store. Here is what blew my mind. 1 cup of canned spinach gives you more iron than a steak, more calcium than a glass of milk, and more vitamin A than a carrot. It is a multivitamin in a can. Shelf life is 3 to 5 years, sometimes longer. Last year I got blood work done, and my iron was low. My doctor told me to take supplements. I started eating canned spinach 3 times a week instead. Next blood work. My levels were perfect. No pills, no expensive powders, just 78 cents per can. Here's what I do. Drain it, squeeze out the extra water, and toss it into scrambled eggs, pasta, or rice. You can also blend it into soups. If you heat it with a little garlic and butter, it actually tastes good. My kids will not eat it plain, but mixed into mac and cheese. They do not even notice. A case of 12 can cost about $9. You are looking at 12 servings of vegetables that do not need refrigeration and will not rot if your power goes out. Why does this survive? Because fresh spinach is trendy. Canned spinach looks old school and boring. It does not photograph well for Instagram. That is exactly why it stays in stock during shortages while the fresh stuff is gone in hours. Number 6. Great value yellow cornmeal. This is getting discontinued because Walmart is consolidating their baking aisle. Cornmeal is ground dried corn. It is used for cornbread, polenta, breading, and dozens of other recipes. It is also one of the cheapest calories per pound you can buy. Here is what most people do not realize. Cornmeal stores for years if you keep it in an airtight container in a cool, dry place. I have cornmeal in a sealed bucket from 2021. I made cornbread with it last week. Tasted fresh. 2 years ago, I went through a tight financial stretch. I was feeding a family of 4 on $40 a week. Cornmeal became my best friend. Cornbread for breakfast. Fried polenta for lunch. Cornmeal crusted chicken for dinner. Filling, cheap, versatile. Here is what I do. Mix 1 cup cornmeal, 1 cup flour, a tablespoon of sugar, a tablespoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, 1 egg, 1 cup of milk, and 2 tablespoons of oil. Pour it in a greased pan and bake at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. That is cornbread that costs less than $1 to make and feeds 6 people. A 5-pound bag costs $2.24. That is over 8,000 calories for about $2. Show me a freeze-dried meal that comes close to that value. Why does it survive? Because most Americans do not cook from scratch anymore. Cornmeal requires you to actually make something. It does not come in a pouch. It is not instant. That is why it stays stocked while box mixes disappear. Number 7. You are not going to believe this one. Great value chicken bouillon cubes. Walmart is discontinuing the cube format in favor of the jarred paste, which costs more and does not store as long. Bouillon cubes are concentrated chicken flavor. Each cube makes 1 cup of broth. Here is the thing nobody talks about. Bouillon cubes add flavor to literally anything. Rice, beans, pasta, vegetables, soups, stews. 1 cube transforms bland food into something your family will actually eat. And here's the kicker. They last indefinitely if stored in a dry place. I have got cubes in my pantry that are 4 years old. Still perfect. During a blizzard 2 winters ago, I was stuck inside for 10 days. I used bouillon cubes to make chicken rice soup, to flavor mashed potatoes, to cook dried beans. My food did not taste like survival rations. It tasted like dinner. Here is what I do. Drop 1 cube into 2 cups of water while cooking rice, or crumble half a cube into scrambled eggs for extra flavor. You can also dissolve a cube in hot water and drink it like tea. Sounds weird, but when it is cold and you need something warm and salty, it hits different. A jar of 32 cubes costs $2.48. That is 32 cups of broth for less than $3. Compare that to box broth at $3 per quart that takes up massive space and has to be used within days once opened. Why does this survive? Because cubes are not trendy. Food bloggers recommend organic bone broth in glass jars. That is great until those jars are $8 each and sold out. Bouillon cubes sit there ignored, which is exactly why you need them. Number 8. Great value peanut butter. Wait, you are thinking peanut butter is not getting discontinued. Wrong. The 64-ounce jug is getting axed. Walmart is keeping the smaller jars, which cost more per ounce. This is about margin optimization for them, and a loss for you. Here is what you need to know. Peanut butter is one of the best survival foods on the planet. High in fat, high in protein, calorie dense, shelf stable for a year or more, and does not need cooking or refrigeration. 1 tablespoon is about 100 calories. 3 years ago, I went on a camping trip that turned into a survival situation. Trail got washed out, was stuck for 3 extra days. I had a jar of peanut butter and a box of crackers. That combo kept me going. No fire needed, no prep, just open and eat. Here's what I do. Eat it straight from the jar with a spoon when I need fast calories. Spread it on anything for instant energy, or mix it into oatmeal for extra fat and protein. You can also use it in sauces. Peanut butter, soy sauce, a little garlic, and some water makes a killer stir-fry sauce. A 64-ounce jug costs $5.98. That is 6,400 calories for $6. Do the math. That is some of the cheapest, most efficient food storage you can buy. Why does this survive? It does not. Peanut butter sells out fast during shortages. But the big jugs move slower because people think they will not use it fast enough. That is wrong thinking. Stock the jug while it is still available. Number 9. This is the one I teased at the beginning. Great value matchlight charcoal briquettes. You are thinking this is not food. You are right. But here is what happens during every power outage, every natural disaster, every supply chain breakdown. People need to cook and they need heat. Walmart is discontinuing their matchlight version in favor of regular briquettes because matchlight costs more to produce. Matchlight briquettes are pre-soaked in lighter fluid. You do not need matches. You do not need starter fluid. You just light them and they go. Here is what nobody thinks about until it is too late. During the Texas freeze in 2021, people were cooking on grills in their garages. Some were using charcoal indoors and dying from carbon monoxide poisoning. But outdoors with proper ventilation, charcoal becomes your lifeline. I keep 2 bags in my shed. Last summer during a power outage, I cooked everything on my grill for 3 days. Eggs, burgers, beans, even boiled water for coffee. Matchlight makes it faster and easier because you do not need extra supplies. Here is what I do. Pile about 20 briquettes in a pyramid, light the edges, wait 15 minutes until they are white hot, then spread them out and cook. Each bag has about 100 briquettes. That is enough for 15 to 20 cookouts. A 12-pound bag costs $7.48. That is weeks of cooking for under $8. Compare that to a portable butane stove where each canister costs $4 and lasts for maybe 2 meals. Why does this survive? Because it is not food. Most preppers ignore it until they realize they have no way to cook the food they stockpiled. That is too late. Grab it now. Number 10. Great value instant white rice. Walmart is discontinuing the 4-pound box. They are keeping smaller sizes that cost more per serving. Instant rice cooks in 5 minutes with just boiling water. Regular rice takes 20 minutes and requires precise water ratios. Here is the insight. Instant rice is pre-cooked and then dehydrated. That means it rehydrates fast and you cannot mess it up. During emergencies when you're stressed, tired, and distracted, simple food wins. Last year, during a hurricane evacuation, I was cooking on a camp stove in a hotel parking lot. I made instant rice, added a can of beans, and called it dinner. Took 7 minutes start to finish. No measuring, no guesswork. Here's what I do. Boil water. Pour it over the rice in a 1-to-1 ratio. Cover, wait 5 minutes. Done. You can add bouillon cubes for flavor, mix in canned veggies, or eat it plain. It is boring, but it works. A 4-pound box costs $4.32. That is about 40 servings for $4. Each serving is roughly 200 calories. This is fuel, not gourmet dining. Why does this survive? Because food snobs hate instant rice. They say it tastes worse, has less nutrition, is not real rice. Fine, let them fight over the good stuff. You will have a box that cooks in 5 minutes when the power is out. Number 11. Great value dried navy beans. Walmart is cutting their bulk bean selection. Navy beans are small white beans that cook faster than most other dried beans. They are loaded with fiber, protein, and they store for 10+ years in a sealed container. Here is what shocked me. Dried beans are one of the only foods that actually get cheaper per calorie the more you buy. A 2-pound bag of navy beans costs $2.18. That is over 3,000 calories for $2. 5 years ago, I started keeping a 5-gallon bucket of dried beans in my basement. I rotate through them by cooking a batch every few weeks. Last month, I opened beans I sealed in 2020. Cooked perfectly. No difference. Here is what I do. Soak the beans overnight in water, drain them, then simmer them for 90 minutes until soft. Add salt, garlic, and a bouillon cube. You can eat them as is, mash them for refried beans, or toss them in soups and stews. A 2-pound bag costs $2.18. You're feeding a family of 4 for under $3. Show me a restaurant meal that comes close. Why does this survive? Because dried beans take time. Modern shoppers want instant. That is why can beans fly off shelves and dried beans sit there untouched. Dried beans are 70% cheaper and last 10 times longer. Stock them. Number 12. Great value vegetable oil. Walmart is discontinuing the 128-ounce jug. Vegetable oil is neutral-flavored cooking oil that works for frying, baking, sautéing, and even making salad dressing. It also stores for up to 2 years unopened. Here's the secret. Fat is essential for survival. Your body needs it for energy, for absorbing vitamins, for brain function. You can survive weeks without carbs. You cannot survive long without fat. During a week-long power outage, I use vegetable oil to fry eggs, to cook pancakes on a camp stove, and to make popcorn over a fire. Fat makes food taste good. It keeps you full. It gives you energy. Here is what I do. Use it for anything that needs cooking oil. I also make homemade salad dressing by mixing 3 parts oil with 1 part vinegar, adding salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Tastes better than store-bought and costs pennies. A 128-ounce jug costs $8.47. That is a gallon of fat for less than $9. Compare that to olive oil at $20 per gallon or coconut oil at $30. Why does this survive? Because health culture has demonized vegetable oil. Everyone wants avocado oil and ghee. That is fine until those disappear and cost triple. Vegetable oil works, it is cheap, and it stays stocked. Number 13. Great value condensed tomatoes. Walmart is reducing their canned tomato variety. Diced tomatoes are the most versatile canned item you can own. They go in soups, stews, pasta, chili, rice dishes, casseroles, and dozens of other meals. Here is what nobody realizes. Canned tomatoes are picked and canned at peak ripeness. That means they often have more nutrients than fresh tomatoes that were picked early and shipped across the country. Shelf life is 3 to 5 years. 2 months ago, I made chili using canned tomatoes from 2021. Tasted perfect. No weird texture, no off flavor, just solid tomatoes. Here is what I do. Open the can, dump it in a pot with ground beef or beans, add chili powder and cumin, simmer for 20 minutes. That is chili. You can also blend canned tomatoes into pasta sauce, or dump them over rice with some garlic. It can cost 68 cents. A case of 12 costs about $8. That is 12 meals worth of base ingredients for $8. Why does this survive? It does not always. Canned tomatoes are popular, but the Great Value brand moves slower than name brands, which means it stays stocked longer. Grab it while the shelf tags still say in stock. Number 14. Great Value pancake syrup. Walmart is discontinuing the 36-ounce bottle. Pancake syrup is not just for pancakes. It is concentrated sugar, which means it is long-term energy and it stores indefinitely. Here's what most people miss. Sugar is a survival food. It is calorie-dense, it does not spoil, and it makes bland food edible. During rationing in World War II, sugar was one of the most tightly controlled items because it mattered that much. Last winter, I used pancake syrup to sweeten oatmeal, to glaze roasted carrots, and to make homemade granola bars. 1 tablespoon has 50 calories. That adds up fast when food is tight. Here's what I do. Drizzle it on anything that needs sweetness. Oatmeal, yogurt, baked goods. You can also mix it with peanut butter for a quick energy boost. A 36-ounce bottle costs $2.64. That is over 2,000 calories for less than $3. Pure energy in a shelf-stable bottle. Why does this survive? Because people think syrup is junk food. They want honey or maple syrup. Those cost 5 times as much in crystallize or ferment. Pancake syrup just sits there, stable, ready. Number 15. Great Value iodized salt. Walmart is discontinuing the 4-pound container. Salt is the most important item on this list. Your body cannot function without sodium. You lose it through sweat, through urine, through basic metabolism. You need to replace it. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You can survive for weeks without food. You will die in days without salt. Iodized salt also provides iodine, which your thyroid needs to function. Most people are already iodine deficient and do not even know it. I keep 20 pounds of salt in sealed containers in my basement. It lasts forever, literally forever. Archaeologists have found salt from ancient Rome that is still perfectly usable. Here is what I do. Use it to season food, to preserve meat, to make electrolyte drinks by mixing a pinch of salt with water and a little sugar. During a stomach bug last year, Homemade electrolyte water kept me hydrated when I could not keep anything else down. A 4-pound container costs $1.24. That is years of salt for about $1. There is no better value in the entire store. Why does this survive? Because people take it for granted. Nobody panics about salt until it is gone. Then it becomes worth its weight in gold, which is literally where that phrase comes from. While everyone else is fighting over the same top 10 prepper foods that every blog recommends, you now know 15 Walmart products that are getting discontinued this week and are still sitting on shelves right now. These are not trendy. They are not expensive. They are not what influencers push. That is exactly why they work. Drop a comment and tell me which of these you're stocking up on first. And next week, I am revealing the 10 survival tools everyone swears by that are completely useless in a real collapse scenario. You do not want to miss that one.